in my opinion, the best training mentality, the best mental approach when it comes to self-improvement is riding that line between confidence in what you're doing and having a good understanding of where you're at and what you need to work on, and also a little bit of acceptance that you don't know everything. And I've mentioned this before in videos, that the strongest you are right now is not necessarily the strongest you have the potential to be, and all the information that you have at your disposal may not be the whole picture. Even if you feel very confident and that you have a great idea of what's going on, you know yourself really well, it is really important to also be along with your self-criticism and saying, yes, I can find the things that I can fix and I can find those things that I need to work on, to also allow there to be some sort of external force. I'm not saying get a coach. I'm not saying let every single person who blows up your Instagram or blows up your YouTube with negative comments direct your decisions and affect your mentality. But a lot of the time people will get to this point where they fall back on the defense, well, it works for me, and so that's just why. That's just my reason. And they stop being self-critical. They stop finding the opportunities to move forward and be better because they're already convinced that they know enough or know it all. And you have to be hungry for that knowledge. You have to just have this unquenchable thirst, this directed energy towards constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly moving forward with your own understanding. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm coming up on 16 years, and I learn something new almost daily, even in my own sessions or from looking around for information, and I spend a lot of my time doing this. This has been my passion. This is something that I care a lot about and I always want to learn more about. And if I had gotten to the point where there was no more to learn, what's the point anymore? If I already had all the information, if I wasn't constantly going and assessing what I'm doing, assessing what others are doing, trying to find ways to improve, it just becomes boring and stagnant. That's really the mentality that shifted some of my training, this training block, from my last training block. I think a lot of people have a hard time when they become successful to say, I was potentially less correct, I was potentially wrong with some of the things that I was doing before. I look back at my last training block leading into my last meet. It was a successful meet. I hit every single goal almost on the platform that I wanted to. A little bit of miscommunication between my brain and the deadlift bar, but whatever. I still went to that meet and was very satisfied with how it all went, and have, you know, a lot of things that I did right in that training cycle looking back. There's also some things that I can improve, and I've changed a lot of those in this training cycle. I'm sure that I will look back at this training cycle the next time and say, yeah, this and this could be improved, or I could have done this differently, or whatever. And a few of the big things that I've changed here, you guys have seen, is I've added in some pause work on my squats. I've added in the front squatting to help with my positioning and some quad imbalances. I've added in the slingshot work to overload on my bench. Personally, I've been really enjoying the slingshot. It helps me practice a better press. On this particular day, it's not going to look all that great. I was still pretty burnt out from the week. My other two benching sessions have gone really well, and so I was due for a kick in the pants and some struggle busing. So I still managed this pretty horrendous looking PR, but I was just happy to be able to get it. I knew as soon as I hit my 405 first set with the slingshot that I was not going to be in a PR single range for the day, and I just didn't feel good enough without a spotter. But a big thing that this has helped me with, not only with the overloading of the press, but overloading of the unrack. A lot of people don't know what it's like to do all of their bench training without someone to give them a lift off, and it is a very different world to have to get set and take the bar out without losing any of that tightness. And I found a way to get pretty decent at it, but that's something that the slingshot work has helped me improve. Those pin presses help me with my bottom end strength and having a little bit more control through that portion of the lift. that workout that you saw, the pause squats and the slingshot work, that was Saturday night, well past midnight, going into the early AM. This pause deadlift session that you're seeing was less than 12 hours later, Sunday morning, early afternoon. And again, it's one of those things where last training block when I was doing my pause deads, I was using my deadlift bar. In this training block, I'm using just the Texas Power Bar. It's much stiffer and it's much less friendly when it comes to deadlifting. With it's doesn't have nearly as much flex. The bar, the weights break off the ground way earlier in the pull and fully load it, so it's a little bit harder. You lose about 1 inch to 2 inches, depending on your pull style and the weight on the bar, of bar flex before you get going, so it's a lot harder to get it moving. Combine that with the fact that you have to then pause it, and the fact that I never use a belt when I do these, this ends up being a really tough movement. It's a really big ego basher if you're used to just ripping weights off the floor, to have to be patient and kind of squash that ego a little bit, and again say, hey, body, maybe I have to work a little bit harder to continue to improve. I was fortunate enough to have a PR in me on that day. It just kind of happened. But long story short, the takeaway of all this, don't be afraid to look to improve, even if something is working for you. A lot of people say, well, it's working for me, so I'm done searching for more. Constantly pursue that improvement, pursue that better understanding, pursue that knowledge, and just, that's what passion is. When you're passionate about something, you want to get better at it, you want to learn more about it, you want to become as proficient as possible at it. That is passion. So do it. Don't make the excuse for yourself that you're already good enough, when you can still be content with how you are and happy with the progress you've made, but still wanting more. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing broken about that. And there's nothing mentally diseased about wanting to improve even when you've had a pretty good run of things. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it spoke to you in some positive way and encouraged you to do something more in your own life, in your own program, whatever you're passionate about, to pursue it a little bit more thoroughly and with a little bit more intentionality in becoming the best possible version of that you can. So thank you guys a lot, and I will talk to you very soon on Tuesday with my squats and some bench. Pooch.